Welcome back. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken traveling to Costa Rica today to meet with Central American officials to address the ongoing crisis at the border. The meeting coming after more than 100 undocumented immigrants, including 8 children, were found stuffed inside a tractor trailer at a border checkpoint in Laredo, Texas. And immigration advocates are pushing for the U.S. to remit migrants who were deported for what they call unfair reasons. Joining me right now is Texas Congressman, House Financial Services Committee member Lance Gooden. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Take us
Good morning.
through this debate on whether or not to reverse course on the deportations that have already occurred.
Yeah, you've got this group that's saying that these folks that were deported should have another chance, and I believe there's just under 1 million of them, 900-something thousand, that this group has come out for. The Biden administration, I don't believe, has come out on a position one way or the other, but the fact that they're even entertaining it is pretty shocking. But I think this goes back to this thinking in Washington that the administration doesn't want to admit there's a crisis. They're also hoping that it will just go away. And every day that another news story pops up is a good day for the White House, because the last thing they want is the American people focused on one of the greatest crises in the nation, and that's our border crisis and what's happening down there.
Well, you're right. I mean, it is absolutely incredible and expected to get worse as we go further into the warm summer months. I spoke with the Department of Homeland Security former acting Secretary Chad Wolf on Sunday on the state of the U.S.-Mexico border. Here's what he had to say. Watch this.
You talked about DHS and the progress they've made. The department and the administration are trying to take a victory lap at the moment, talking about how they're moving migrants, mainly minors, from one government facility to another government facility, and saying we've solved the problem and the crisis. And that's anything, they have done anything but that. Solving the crisis is actually trying to stop the illegal behavior. They're not interested in doing that. They've torn down a number of programs that we put in place back in 2019 and 2020, and they have not replaced it with any programs and policies to address the illegal behavior.
Well, what is going to be done here? I mean, it's only getting worse, Congressman. You saw the housing that they've doubled the capacity so that they could house more migrants rather than actually stopping the flow of new people coming into this country. 2,000 people a day being transferred by these Mexican cartels.
They've also not encouraged people to consider another option. The Trump administration did a really good job of discouraging illegal immigration. A message was very clearly sent to people across the world that illegal entry into the United States is not going to be accepted. And this administration, the Biden administration, has actually encouraged that. And when there have been problems, rather than admitting, hey, we've got a problem we need to fix, they do things like move COVID relief funds around to help pay for some of these detention facilities. But really, I think the main issue here is we have an administration that is sending a message south of the border and around the world that the United States border is open, and to go ahead and make that journey. Go ahead and pay the coyote, pay the cartel, and come on up. And when you get here, we'll let you in. And if we don't let you in, we'll reconsider and potentially fly you back on the American taxpayer dollar, which is what this group earlier this week has proposed.
Unbelievable. The Mexican cartels are making $400 million a month, I was told, when I was on the ground in the border a couple of weeks ago, just by transferring 2,000 people every day into Texas, getting these illicit narcotics in. There's got to be a cost to this, Congressman. Let's talk about costs and the expenses that you guys are dealing with in Washington. President Biden wants to push through this $1.7 trillion spending plan. No mention of what the border is going to cost. I don't hear about any allocation of money for the border. And the Republicans want something much lower than that, below $1 trillion. What's your thought on where this is going in terms of this massive spending and tax increase that President Biden is trying to get through?
Well, this may be one of the few proposals that's not going in the increasing direction, because I think the White House is realizing there's no support on the Hill for this huge $1 trillion+ figure they wanted. The Republicans and Democrats are several $100 billion apart. They're really struggling with getting votes even from all their Democrats, and I believe that the goal is to have something passed by July the 4th, the goal of Democrats. But this is just like every other bill we've seen since this Congress and White House took office in January January, and that is the Biden administration is pretending to work across the aisle, but their plan is to really just pass whatever they can muster up the votes for on the Democratic side without Republican support. We can't even get a definition of the word infrastructure before we can even start negotiating this plan. And the fact that we're now almost to June, I think today is June 1st. In fact, we're already to June, and we've been talking about this for months. They still don't even have support among Democrats on the Senate side, and I think we've got a long way to go. But the American people are getting back to work. They're seeing this economy continuing to grow and prosper.
Yep.
We just don't need to spend trillions of dollars more at this point. We need to let the economy do the work for us and see what happens, because good things are happening now that people are getting back to work.
Yeah, well, we'll get the jobs numbers out this Friday. That should give us another window into how things are going. You're right. It's June 1st, and you're right. They are trying to push this through regardless. Congressman Lance Gooden, good to see you this morning. We will see you soon.